The following is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
My name is James Kaiser.
Commander Negron.
Kevin Hogan.
Hi, I'm Dylan Fix-Carter, and this is Kyber Cave.
Watching Kyber Cave.
Kyber Cave.
Kyber Cave.
After Dark.
Aren't they Cthulhu? Yes, they are. Oh, who's a cute little eldritch horror?
Hello.
Hello there.
Ready. Hang on.
Look at Ezra. Ezra's all ready for Obi-Wan, I can tell. Oh, and then it changed out. I got my. Oh, I feel Mercedes. We got to get you a lightsaber over there, so you can be a part of the.
Yeah, I don't have.
You're the kid on the block without the ice cream today.
Got my pen.
Hey, you know the pen is mightier than the sword. They say.
Exactly.
How is
Yes,
everybody
thank you guys
doing
for
tonight?
the lightsaber. I'm
Good.
doing
Working.
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 Hey, Anthony, you were just saying the lightsaber. How do you like your new toy?
Thank you. It's really cool. I'm glad that Ezra talked me through how to turn it on and change colors because I would have been lost. But it's fun. I'm like super stoked to do something drag related with this. I mean, I have a slave.
You can do a Ray now. You can do a Ray. Ray.
I could do Ray. You're right. She does kind of have my hairstyle when I do my little triple ponytail thing too.
Yeah.
I'll play around with that concept.
And there's Steve Jordan right now. You can tell. You can let him know. Oh, he says, "Glad you got the saber."
Yes, thank you, Steve. That was very sweet of you to gift this to me. I got to actually meet Ezra in person for the first time, which was great. We had dinner over at Evangeline's. Is it Evelyn's?
Evelyn's.
I was about to say Evangeline's is the costume mansion. Never mind.
Yes.
I frequent both. Yeah, we had fun. He got to meet Eli. I got to meet Brittany.
Dude, if we could get Evangeline's in Sacramento to sponsor the show, that would be fantastic.
Oh my god.
Good luck. I mean, maybe they're down for it. I don't know. It's not like they're a chain, so.
Right. Well, your first lightsaber, woohoo! Always an exciting
My first
moment.
real one. The other ones I got were from like Walmart or the Dollar Tree.
I'm gonna be honest. I thought you were going somewhere completely different with that.
Oh wow.
How so, sir?
You know how.
Well,
Wow.
not that into Star Wars, but thank you. Thank you. For the
Oh, kitty.
Oh,
Hello, Kitty.
Kitty's he looks like Tuxie. Hey, really quickly, I want to say welcome. Hello, everybody. Hello, Mike White. We are happy to have you here. William, as always, I just did William messaged me before the show. He was ready and had his popcorn going. Belle Burns, our Disney princess herself, she is here. And of course, Mr. Steve Jordan, who is either watching our show or saving people from burning.
Yes. Hopefully never both.
Good, Ray. Yeah, it's a little. Don't put out fires and watch Kyber Cave After Dark at the same time.
No, we accept no responsibility of anyone who does that.
Speaking of which, in our local news on our Facebook local group tonight, there was somebody else who was out doing Kyber Cave After Dark. I guess last night at a park about a couple of miles away from Kyber Cave. There was reports of some people drinking Fireball and fighting with lightsabers in the park. So I'm not saying we had anything to do with that, but if we somehow were able to provide those sabers, I'm not.
Why weren't we invited?
That's what I'm saying.
We are literally the lightsaber store. Why weren't we invited?
And what I loved is in the messages said presumed replica sabers. I'm like, what? Do you really think they're out in the park playing with like real lightsabers, cutting each other's hands off and stuff?
Yes.
Of course, they're presumed replicas.
They're lizard people. They grow it back instantly.
Right? I wish I had that ability. You'd be like Deadpool.
Save the lizard people for the hard topic.
Baby
Come
legs.
on.
No.
Well, hello, Rising Sunslayer. Oh, that's from Twitch. Thank you for joining us on Twitch. We appreciate you guys. Oh, hey, you know what? Before we get into our topic tonight, I just want to say, because a lot of the viewers that are watching this also watch us on Sunday nights, we made our 400 goal.
Woo!
Hey,
And that means we are giving away a saber this Sunday. Oh, it's in my car right now. I can't show it. It is it's the Darth Revan. It's a Darth Revan saber. His Sith saber, but it's in all blue. So it's customized in an all blue, but it is Darth Revan Sith saber with the clip on the side. I'm very jealous. It is a saber I want to have, but I do not have. But that's right, because I've got mine. I have my death stick. So this Sunday night, and the rules are going to be different too. We're not going to make Ezra and I are going to talk about what exactly we're going to do. I don't know if we're going to we might give the saber out to someone watching the show that night, or we might open it up and let other people have a few days, kind of like last time, but without having to print things out. All you have to do is comment on the show. Well, we'll talk about it. We'll figure it out. But either way, Sunday night, tune in. We're giving away a lightsaber. Maybe you will win. You need one there.
Sleepy Sapphire, you're a new face for me. By all means, tell us a bit more about yourself.
all right. So my actual name is Mercedes, and it is not spelled exactly how you think it would be spelled. That's probably by far the most interesting thing so far, is that I have a car name, my first name and my last name. It's actually Mercedes Studebaker.
Oh,
You have a
The original
Studebaker?
on itself. I do not, because those went out of business like maybe way before I was born.
Right?
Other than that, with me myself, I'm a vocalist, solo for now, maybe even forever. But I mean, I do music. I lived in Japan for about a year. I studied Japanese for a while. Now I'm studying Korean, so I speak a bit of Korean. What else? I can sing in different languages, but have no idea what they're saying. But I guess you could say I'm a great mimic.
Right?
Right.
hey, me too. I'm a musical theater kid. Come on now.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. 25. I've still got a long ways to go. So, yeah, that's really all there is.
Yeah, and you're a bit of a gamer too, or you used to be, didn't you?
I mean, yeah, I kind of like went downhill once, work and whatnot. Because after COVID hit, longer hours and can't really do most of the same things that I could. But yeah, it's still the gaming aspect is still there.
Right. So yes, Miss Mercedes is talented in multiple things, and actually, I don't even know how we met originally or why we started talking. But you were just somebody that like every time like crazy memes, we would just bounce memes back and forth at each other.
You found me because I kept posting Star Wars memes. I remember you randomly added me on Facebook, and that I was living in Japan at the time too. So
wow, see, Facebook does connect friends. We make new friends we never thought we'd have.
Right. Steve
And
Jordan says I can speak Philippine Tagalog. Oh, nice. Kamusta ka?
Wow.
I can speak a little.
Yeah.
Wow. So you really into languages and stuff? Is that your thing?
Oh, yeah. Languages is a big thing because I've worked in a lot of just like international focused work environment. So I had to pick it up.
Wow. That's actually pretty impressive.
It's fun though. It keeps you busy.
Isaac, what is up? Thank you for tuning in tonight. It is good to see everybody in the chat room. And remember, dude, you're part of the show too, y'all in the chats. Rising Sensei, or wasn't me at the park last night, by the way.
Allegedly.
I want to know who it is. All right, so should we get into our first little topic for tonight?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, recently we had the and so recently that Mercedes didn't even know Gilbert Godfrey passed away 2 days ago. Some of you, well, there's people will know him from so many things. He has definitely an iconic voice, if nothing else.
You don't say.
Oh yeah. It's
Um,
news to
what,
me.
what was the name of the bird in
That's
Iago.
the one. That's the
Iago.
one.
No. What else is Gilbert Godfrey known for? I mean, I know him for stand-up comedy, but what is he known for in movies?
I know his voice. See, that's the thing for me. I know his voice.
Well,
It's
you
just-
can't not know his voice.
yeah. His voice is just so unique. I can see the characters that he played, like in Aladdin. Like but his voice, it's like I could
it was
hear it and I
Aladdin.
would know it's him. Yeah,
Right.
And I know he's
believe it
been
was
like
Aladdin.
a voice actor in a lot of other animated stuff, but I can't think of any other character that
Oh.
other than Iago.
Bat Mike says the Affleck duck.
Yes.
Oh my god, he was.
Oh wow! How
I
do you
knew
not
him
know
in
that one?
I knew him in the old TV show Cyber Chase. Or I say old, but it's like 2002.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
He
that's
was
still
also in
old.
Fairly
It's
Odd
20
Parents.
years.
Yeah. Cyber Chase. I don't know Cyber Chase.
It was on PBS Kids.
Yeah, like
Oh, he also Thumbelina, which was also another big thing. for me,
Yes.
too, as a
Thank you.
child.
That's the one. That's
Yeah.
the one I was trying to think of was Thumbelina.
Up All
Mhm.
Night and Problem Child. William says
So good.
Problem Child. Do you remember that was the little redheaded?
I remember
boy?
the movie. I don't really remember him in it though.
I have a hint of like a memory of his. Like I said, his voice is just so pronounced that
Gilbert
I
Godfrey
know
was
in
in Beverly
family.
Hills.
I know in like family.
Yeah.
What was it called? Fairly Odd. Well, Fairly
Fairly
Odd
Odd
Parents.
Parents.
I do faintly remember hearing his voice in that show
Yeah.
somewhere.
Oh,
He was also in House Party 3. If you guys remember that?
He had such weird roles all over the place.
Mm.
Him and I remember there was a meme that was going around one time that said, aside Morgan Freeman, if when you pass, who would you want to recite the story of your life? And I was like, I know who I'd wanted to be, but it would probably end up being somebody like Gilbert Godfrey or Bobcat Goldthwait. He's another one.
Yeah,
He's
he
another
is.
one with a very distinctive. When you hear Bobcat Goldthwait, you know exactly who that is. So, I mean, what are you guys' thoughts? It looks like some people in the comments are, they're obviously familiar. And I saw somebody say sad when we first mentioned his passing. But we started talking about celebrities and celebrities passing. We were talking about earlier about Betty White. Betty White died right at the beginning of this year, like coming into this year. I think, in fact, the last day of the year, right?
Yeah. It was that 2021 had to take one last thing from us, and it was Betty White.
Right. Like
Yeah.
she was going to be 100 this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, everyone was saying it was going to be a bad omen that we were coming into 2022, and Betty White, this national treasure, has passed away.
What the irony is that they had done an article, interview, photo shoot for her 100th birthday for People or Time magazine, so that they could release it on her birthday. So that was ready to roll, and then of course it was 7 days shy. You said,
Yeah.
It's
Her birthday was
never
coming up.
mind. We got to
Right.
find a new issue now. Shit.
Oh, such a heartbreak.
I always thought that her and the Queen of England had one of those death pacts of there can only be one. Because I was waiting. It's between the two of them and Cher.
They're like the Highlander.
Will never die. So yeah.
No, I'm convinced Cher's a vampire, dude.
She is. She is. So is Lady Gaga. That's why she played one in a hotel.
So what do you think about it is I also remember Princess Di, like a lot of people when Princess Di passed, and people you still see documentaries about her and people are still talking about her so many years after. We were saying this is going to date me a bit, but I'm from an older generation, and if you lived in the Bay Area at the time, there's almost a thing. It's almost like our generation's JFK assassination, but I remember exactly where I was when I found out that Tupac died. And most of my friends who are from the Bay Area, everybody just remembers where they were when they heard the news about Tupac being shot. So what do you think it is about some of these celebrities or these people that we've never even met that we feel attachment for, and even mourn for, maybe so even more so than our own family? Mercedes, you were talking about something right before we came on.
Yeah, for me, like the thing I will always remember is when Paul Walker passed away. That one has always stuck with me probably for the longest time, more than anybody else that I can think of. Because I don't know why, because I guess at the time maybe I was really like into the whole Fast and the Furious franchise, and it was just that whole aspect of family that may have triggered something like that.
Right.
But it definitely, I want to say Paul Walker is probably the number one celebrity death that affected me.
Right. And did you when you say you were a Paul Walker fan, was it to the extent of like just his movies, or did you like watch interviews about him and like were you into him as an actor and watch his other movies and stuff like that?
Funny enough, for me, I don't know why, because not even just Paul Walker, is every time that I get into liking a celebrity, they pass away. And an example of the first one that happened with was Heath Ledger. When I started
Yeah.
watching, because I was young, I was like in high school when this stuff happened. So, whenever I found out Heath Ledger died was also at the time that I was watching, 10 Things I Hate About You,
Yeah.
and
It was
this
that
other
night.
one. It was like a Knight's.
The
Hmm?
Knight's Tale? Was it Knight's Tale that
Yeah,
he was in?
A Knight's Tale.
yeah. That one, and then I was just getting into him because I really liked his character, and then that's when The Dark Knight came out, and he played Joker, and then that's when it happened. This was all when I was just getting into it, and then when I started getting into Fast and the Furious, I was starting to get to his movies, and then it happened not too long after that. So I started thinking, "Am I doing this?"
Right. Wow, that's crazy.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely did an effect because I'm sitting there thinking the potential of all these different films that because they're young to me, and it's like all the things they could have
Even
done.
The Dark Knight Rises? Are you fucking kidding me? That what?
Right.
Sorry.
And
Yeah.
a couple of people are saying over on the side, not to cut you off there, Mercedes, but I'm seeing Brandon Lee. Matt is saying Brandon Lee was a hard hitter. A couple of
Mhm.
people are saying that I agree with Kurt Cobain.
Yeah,
I
oh, yeah, that
remember
was
Kurt
another one.
Cobain. That was a crazy one too.
Mhm.
Carrie Fisher, Bell Burns says Carrie Fisher passing. But what do you think it is about these particular people, right? Like there just seems to be certain people that people just en masse kind of gravitate to. And there's so many actors, of course, being an actor, you're going to have some fans that are upset, but there are just certain people that just outshine above other people, right?
Well, it's kind of because like people have watched these actors kind of like grow in their careers. They've kind of grown up with it. So now that that person's gone, they're kind of like, well, I can't see like their next movie, their next show. Also, remorse for their family because they didn't all this time with TV sets and stuff like that. They weren't really spending time with their families as much as they could have.
Right.
That's also a big factor into it. At least
A
for
lot
me.
of them spend a lot of time, working for us in in a perspective. Because, you think about it, if someone like me or, like us, we do things to do these shows, we do it for, how do I say, like we do it for us, but we're growing, right?
Right.
And the perspective that we're growing and we're doing this for, our fans and for others who enjoy that, they'll follow. If something happens to us, it's going to be the same kind of effect.
Right.
For
Can I just
example, like,
interject?
yeah.
It's the theater kid in me. The audience loves me, and I love them for loving me, and they
It's
love me
passion.
for loving them. We just love each other. 'Cause none of us got enough love in our childhoods. That's
Right.
show business.
Or even like when Stan
Please
Lee
tell me you know what that's from.
No, I don't know what that's from, but
Chicago the musical.
see,
I never watched.
There's a movie.
I'm an uncultured heathen.
Right?
That's why we had you on the show. You're
I
here to
wouldn't really
class the
call
place
it
up.
uncultured though. I mean, we all have our we all have our, what's the word?
Steve knew what it was.
I
Thank
don't
you.
know.
Okay, so on this subject, I will say that I don't remember where I was when a celebrity has died. I unfortunately had 9/11 for my big standout moment of that.
Right.
I was
Again, which
there.
sucks because it was my best friend's like 16th birthday when it happened too. So that like double whammy. I think that though people have this reaction when these celebrities pass away because
As
of
they're
just
both on
how
the-
influential they are to
Right.
them on a personal level, right? Like, so like Betty White for me was a big deal because I grew up watching Golden Girls at my grandmother's house, which is crazy to think that like they were old way back when I was like 5. And then, you know, she's been old my entire fucking life, but she's also been a very funny, like bright light in that sense too. Cause she always played these nice, kind characters. She always had a really charming, sharp wit about her. There's a reason that they're legends like that, right? Like Gilbert Godfrey, again, same thing. Iago is the big one for me, and best part he's ever played was actually in The Return of Jafar, because that was really Iago's story arc. He started off as this little conniving thing that then wanted to help out at the end, and then kind of kills Jafar. So go figure. But I've seen a lot of memes like now passing it on, like, oh, you know, now they're together because it's him and Robin Williams. Like they think of the passing of Iago, you can't help but reckon back to Robin Williams, which was a huge one too. So yeah, I think there's a bit of the nostalgia factor. Like it's something that's formative for you and psychological enough, and then it like puts you in that area of like, oh wow, they just died. I'm gonna die one day.
Right. It doesn't give us
threat.
a sense of our own mortality, was what I was going to ask. Really quickly, Mercedes, were you going to say something? I just saw Steve said he was at the towers a few hours after they fell. Mercedes, did I hear you say you were there or something? Or
Yeah, I was very, very young though.
so you lived in New York, or
Yes, I was living in New York at the time.
and how old were you?
Goodness, 2001, and I was born in 1996, so I was probably what?
5.
So yeah.
Wow.
Which I can't really remember anything before 5 either. So
I wouldn't really. I could just say that I know I was there.
Right. I was gonna say, but you know, as sometimes though with children, because I worked as a preschool teacher. Sometimes big emotional events like that may leave kind of lasting feelings or images. I'm not saying that it did or didn't in your case, but I was just wondering, do you just remember like a sense of sadness at that time, or do you remember any specific images, like maybe your mom crying or something, or?
No one knew what was going on. Honestly. So
Right.
honestly, it's just not really much I could really remember because it was just either a source of panic or they're trying not to panic. So it's not really going to
especially with a
recollect in
small
my
child,
memory.
like, everything's okay, it's okay, honey.
Exactly.
Like that's what you're gonna, yeah.
And the only
That's
thing
kind of
that
like
I
how I
can
remember
say,
faintly snowing when I was 5, but it's also California, and that probably happened.
right. So growing up, I mean, you're gonna look into it. In my generation, everything is about conspiracy. So it's
don't get me
more
started.
and I'm not even just saying
Don't get
just
me
with it
started.
in itself. It's even celebrities' deaths. Back on that topic itself.
Right.
We have come up
Jeffrey
with so many
Epstein didn't kill
conspiracies.
himself.
We have come up with so many conspiracies that Elvis Presley is not dead, Michael Jackson is not dead, things like that. In high school, when we took field trips to Graceland and went into his house, they would not let us upstairs in the attic, and that is where we started the conspiracy that he's hiding up there.
Yeah, I've heard because his name is spelled wrong on his tombstone or something like that, people think that's like a clue that he's still alive or something. He's out there chilling with Tupac and Biggie.
And then also think about social media and how people can recreate an actor, especially a famous actor. And it's created so much like mental distress on wondering whether these people are actually dead or not.
Michael Jackson
Wow.
has that conspiracy theory too.
Unknown, because there's so many people that can recreate Michael Jackson, or they have someone could take a photo of someone that looks like Michael Jackson and say, look, he was getting out of the car and they faked his death.
Right.
And we'll never know. That's the thing for me, is we'll never know.
And
Well,
the
especially with
crazy
Photoshop these days, fuck.
Right, that's what
Yeah.
I was gonna say. It's crazy, like you even take, say, like the Mandalorian, right? Like, and they talked about between season 2 and Book of Boba Fett, where when we saw Luke Skywalker for the first time, people, you could tell it was like a deep fake, and people were like,
Oh,
it
yeah.
looks kind of off. But by the next season, people were like, damn, dude, that looks almost dead on. Like, you can't tell that's not young Mark Hamill. You know what I mean?
It's
It's
getting
kind of
scarier.
crazy to think what, that's technology now. I can't imagine what it'll be like in 3 years from now.
Oh, well, you have to go through all the, like, once you start doing a program, right? You have to see what it is to make it better. Just like how we went from playing 8-bit pixel games to now it looks so real now, almost.
Right.
So, I mean,
Oh, this
it's
is all
come a long
going
way.
into our later segment.
It is.
Put a pin in it.
Well, I'm not gonna get there though. I'm just
I
gonna
know.
get to the part with how
Remind me.
easy it is now. How it just keeps getting better by the generation, but it can also get scarier in another aspect.
Yeah, it's just so fun. It's so fun. Sorry, not yeah. It's gonna be crazy. And Saber Paul is making comment. AI will run Kyber Cave one day. What's really funny about him saying that there's no way you're gonna see it. Maybe you see this. I have a tattoo on my wrist that says AI. There's the letter AI. I don't know if you can see that. Sorry.
It looks like a slash on your wrist. That's
It looks
all.
like
It is. It's a slash wrist, but it's dripping out the letters AI. I
Oh,
used to be
okay.
in
Yeah,
a
I can't see
production
the
company
letters.
called Artistic Insomnia. So for me, AI was Artistic Insomnia.
Ew.
That was the name of
I
my
have
first
insomnia.
video production company.
Same. Severe.
So yeah, so when he said AI will run Kyber Cave, it's kind of already running Kyber Cave. I don't
True.
sleep much.
I could not be real. You don't know that.
Well, yeah, I know. We could be talking to a hologram right now.
Exactly.
I mean, I have a pretty good eye for this shit. Well, again, we'll get into it in a minute, but
Anyways,
So is it any different when a celebrity dies as opposed to when somebody maybe you hear, a friend from high school died or something like that? And then also another thing is it any different when, say, it's more of a natural death like Betty White? Nobody wanted her to pass, but for God's sake, the
She was
woman was
99.
99 years old. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was
it's not
inevitable.
like, oh God, that's so
Right.
unexpected. Like,
Oh my God.
Right.
We
Whereas
all
Kurt
created we definitely created a expectation of that. That's why maybe a lot of people got shocked about it.
Right.
we
Whereas
were all
I'm
hoping she'd
thinking,
make it to 100. We wanted that for her. Like, you should be 100. You deserve it. And then it didn't happen. It's like, damn it.
Well, just think of it. If we go by the Korean aspect, where you're actually a year older, she technically did
then
make
she
it.
did
to
make
100
it. That's true.
in Korean culture.
We'll take it. Well, it was close to fucking enough. She was
But now-
basically 100.
Compare Betty White's death to, say, Kurt Cobain, which was obviously a suicide. It was more sudden, or even somebody
Allegedly.
somebody.
Yeah, conspiracy.
Also, somebody had mentioned when we were talking about Gilbert Godfrey, they had mentioned Robin Williams. Robin Williams was another one that was a really tough death on a lot of people. And a lot of times, too, I think the comedians kind of stand out because, you think their job is to make people laugh. Why, they're probably laughing all the time, you know what I mean? But a lot of times, these people are holding very deep-seated, a lot of people are dealing with the same depression that some of us deal with, the same anxiety that we deal with, but they also have to deal, right? They also have to deal with the public aspect of it.
Well, the fun thing about it is if you really think about the construct of comedy itself, it is all derived from a place of pain or humiliation or something in a negative that we're trying to make light of. And
Right.
that's what makes it a joke. Like, it's very hard for me to think of like a happy joke
Right.
outside of maybe the chicken cross the road. Like,
Well, there's that old saying. What is it? Comedy. The equation for comedy is pain multiplied by time.
Yes.
And that's your
Exactly.
equation for comedy.
Exactly. That's why Family Guy, at some point got to do the joke when Lois is running for Congress to just be like 9/11 and people will applaud you.
Right.
And like it had to get to a point where it's been a long enough time that you can make a joke now. It doesn't make the situation funny, but it acknowledges that something exists that has this other aspect to it, and that we can find some sort of levity from making light of a dark situation. Like,
Right.
nobody likes the thought of a dead baby, but there are things called dead baby jokes, and I'm certain everybody's heard at least one.
Right.
So again, comedy's subjective. It's a weird thing.
I want to do a really quick shout out to Phoenix. Phoenix has a brand new podcast. Mysterium. I can't say it. It sounds like a spell that Harry Potter would use. Put it up on the screen, Phoenix, so people can check out your new podcast. And Kevin Hogan, the producer of the cosplay segment on Saber Rattle. Welcome to the show, everybody. I love when our comment boards light up on the sides and people are talking to each other. So yes,
Ezra, who's your celebrity that hit you the hardest?
Sorry, I muted myself on here. Definitely Stanley. Stanley and
somebody else said Stanley up at the top
because he heard me say it earlier.
Good.
So Stanley and shoot, what was his name? I can't think of his name. I can actually Google it.
What is he known for?
Sorry.
I will definitely say Stanley was it for me because it's like, again, it's like one of those things we're not going to be able to see the camos anymore.
Right.
When they filmed a few extra just in case of shit too, right? Like we saw one of him after he died.
But I mean, there's going to be a time where they run out.
Yeah, and Marvel has even stated that they're not going to do that going forward. Like keep using him because it's it's out of respect for him and his family. I want to say though, really quickly, Stan Lee was a tough one, only because for me, Stan Lee was one where I thought like, oh my God, everybody loves Stan Lee. He's got, and the MCU was going great, and he was somebody whose name was kind of hidden in the dark for so many years, and he's finally starting to get the notoriety over the last 10, 15 years that he's really deserved. But when you hear about his real story, like apparently the last few years of his life were horrendous. People were stealing from him. He was having problems getting just proper health care and medication because he couldn't trust.
Like keeping him from a lot of shit too.
Yeah, there was like all kinds of conniving people around him and stuff. And I never heard about any of that personally when he was alive and going to all these cons and doing all these appearances.
A lot of people won't.
Right. Go ahead, Mercedes.
A lot of people won't really because again, it's the same idea of when it's an iconic person or a famous person, we don't really see them as human. We don't see them as having family problems. A lot of us get this unrealistic idea that they're famous, they make a lot of money, everything is all well in the world.
Well, that's because a lot of us equate to the idea that, like, if we had money, we would just be happy because then we wouldn't have the concerns that we have because we don't have money.
Yeah.
Hey, can we? I'm almost thinking like I'm almost wanting to throw Phoenix a link too because she was talking about Prince's death, and I wanted to ask her what about Prince's death hit her in particular. I know that one was tough too for my son's mom. She was a really huge Prince fan, and Prince is another one of those iconic artists that touches across generations. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you were a Batman fan, who could forget that fantastic soundtrack?
Oh, of course. I think that actually triggered a memory of mine. David Bowie was actually one that hit me the hardest because I definitely followed everything he did. I drew portraits of him. I don't know why I forgot about him, but David Bowie definitely was a big one for me.
Right. Wow.
No, I'm jealous. My mom got to see Prince a bunch in the years before he died.
That's
So I'm
crazy.
jealous there because she saw him in concert like 3 or 4 fucking times.
Right.
I was all during like one tour. But outside of that, like it's weird because his death was so similar to Michael Jackson's in the sense it was about like, you know, drug or sedative use, and they were both around the same age, and both of them had very similar rivaling careers at the time, right? Like Michael Jackson and Prince were both like the top shit back in their heyday, and it was a big toss-up of like who's better. Is it Michael or is it Prince? Because they were such different flavors of the like saying like, man, this is iconic as shit. So I don't know. For me, it was always Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was probably a bigger impact on me as a kid growing up, watching his music videos, especially, which is what I love about Lady Gaga. Like she gets the fact that you can make like a cinematic movie of sorts with your music video. But there was a time where there was like, MTV was doing a whole special where it just showed all of them, and I remember recording that shit and then watching it on repeat. So he's always been like the big thing for me between the two, but I feel like there's a lot of similarities.
That brings up another question for me for you guys. Okay, and I don't remember Ezra. Okay, Michael Jackson, did he die in your lifetime? Was he alive in your lifetime? I don't remember.
Yeah, he should have been.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
How long ago he died? How long ago did he die? Like 10?
Maybe when he was 7. I don't know.
It definitely was around my time.
2009.
Yeah.
I always had that. I'm in that generation where you just read anything on social media.
Right.
And it's always been my aspect then was that he was murdered.
Wow. Well, you know, there was the whole pills thing, right? Didn't he die
Yeah,
of like overdose?
I hear overdose. Yeah, that's what it was. Overdose, and that someone came in and maybe gave him too much.
Right.
Because I mean, of course, you can't really trust everyone that's around you.
Right. Hey, quick shout out to Say Wong, and Say Wong is saying maybe around 06.
It was 2009.
So here's the bigger question. Okay.
Okay, so you were 6, not 7. Sorry.
And of course, just like Mercedes says, there's always like, you know, in this day and age, there's always conspiracies and everybody's got their ideas and opinions. But that aside, does what an artist does in their personal life affect the way you view them after death? Michael Jackson was accused of being a child molester, but does that mean that you no longer will play a Michael Jackson song at your party? You know, I still see plenty of children dance to Michael Jackson songs. You know what I mean? Like, is there, or am I taking it too far?
No, I don't think you are at all.
Phoenix, what's going on, girl?
Hey, I'm a little I'm a little congested.
Everyone's sick.
Hi.
Dang.
Wow, it's been a big makeout party.
Yeah. Oh yeah, all that, right?
Really quick shout out to Force Effects, incredible font maker. You need to go check out his fonts, especially his Scott Pilgrim. That is my absolute favorite. Go ahead, Mercedes. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. So for me, my thing is like, it's hard to like know something, and for me, it's like you can't 100% say it happened unless you know it's been proven. So it's kind of
technically proven in court.
Was it proven is the thing, because
he was acquitted.
I think that like for someone to be, it makes me feel bad at the same time too, because it's like, it's the unknown part. If he actually did or didn't, think about if he didn't, then the path that he went down is the path of depression, because his image is going to be something that he is not.
Right.
So again, it could fall into the conspiracy of either he was murdered or suicide. But if he did, again, that can go down the path of guilt, and his image is, you know, tarnished. So again, murder or suicide.
What are we talking about?
Michael Jackson's death, and then the accusations that he was a child molester.
And does that influence your opinion of an artist? If you know, So we'll take it somewhere else. V, I apologize. I didn't know your voice was wrecked.
That's fine.
But I appreciate you coming on. In that circumstance, you were going to tell us about your experience with Prince passing, and then I had another question I want to relate back to Michael Jackson after we get this Prince story.
I was actually in college when he died. I think I was in my junior or senior year, and I wore purple for like weeks. And
After he passed,
yeah, no,
like your mourning period was in all purple.
Yeah, and the city I was living in, Portland, Oregon, everything went purple. They reflected purple onto the buildings, onto the bridges. Everybody was like in mourning. Everybody brought out votive candles and put them in the water that night he died.
Wow.
Yeah, like it was just a big thing.
Why do you think? I mean, because he's from what, Minnesota, right? Minnesota.
Yeah.
Why do you think Portland would be so affected by the passing of Prince's death like that? Why was Prince important to Portland?
I think because he was a pioneer in being out of the ordinary, and that's what Portland is all about. Being yourself and being okay with not going along with the flow, and that was all. Like he was just he didn't give a crap.
Right.
So I think it spoke to a lot of people. Were saying he was okay with not being like everyone else. So, and people who were saying I'm not like everyone else and he's my role model were very upset to see him die,
Right.
especially in the way he did.
Right. His was it also overdose related?
Yeah, he was found in an elevator.
Wow, man. A lot of musicians with overdose related. Elvis Presley also was drug overdose related, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's kind of crazy. It's so weird to think that musicians are people, those are other sets of people that I mean, look at Mercedes. Mercedes is trying to become a singer, right? But like when you think about the realities of what that means, like if you actually make it, you're going to be on tour, 390 days a year. You know what I mean? And what does that mean if you've got kids at home or a wife or, maybe a sick parent at home? Do you cancel shows to go take care of, your mom or your dad or something? Like it's very difficult to be a celebrity, I guess. I don't know.
So I think in my opinion, for when it's not really so much the time and work for it, because I mean, I do pretty much the same thing. I work almost all the time. I think it's more or less the image, because it's like I think about it, my personal fear of being someone that becomes an icon or someone famous is it could take one slander news to ruin you.
Right.
Something that's either true or something that is not true. Again, back to the Michael Jackson case, is none of us will know if that was true or not. And it's true. I was reading what Steve Jordan said about seeking money. It's easy to manipulate someone to say something and tarnish someone's reputation.
Right.
And then another thing that I think back to is there was a American Idol singer that was performing on stage, and I guess one of them was a fan of her and she was going to make it, and she ended up getting shot on stage.
Oh my God.
One,
wow. I know that story.
Yes, another one is a famous singer, Selena.
I was that was like her personal assistant or something.
Her own manager.
Personal assistant. So think about it. It's like
fan club manager.
It's literally just a plethora of things. It's not just one.
Right.
So you're a target.
Right.
In all aspects.
Van had mentioned earlier with Princess Diana, where she was such an icon, and her death hit everyone so very hard.
I mean, that was a worldwide phenomenon.
That was a worldwide one. It wasn't, and it's because, like, even today, we still have movies like Spencer being made, and then like The Crown talking about it, where like she was just this genuinely sweet person that had all these other like inner demons going on. Like she suffered from anorexia. She married into this family that was kind of using her as like a tool for their dynasty,
Propaganda.
right? Like she was appropriate for Charles to marry. He didn't want to be with her. He wanted to be with fucking Camilla.
Yeah.
But she wasn't allowed, so we need someone. Oh, the Spencer girl, she's nice and well bred, even though they had nothing in common.
Right,
and then like the whole
I love
dynamic
that
of the
accent.
relationship is terrible. But the real reason people think that the royal family got her killed was because Princess Diana stole all of the limelight off of Charles. No one gave a fuck about him. They loved the fact that she was the people's princess, right? And then their marriage falling apart and her doing all this stuff. Divorce is not allowed in that family. So of course we have that conspiracy theory, like they faked or they caused that to happen with the paparazzi and the crash. God, it was just so terrible. Those poor fucking kids, I swear.
Right. Forrest is saying it's happening on YouTube and the other social media presences now. Are we talking about people overdosing on drugs? Is that what we're doing?
Okay, I understand what Forrest is talking about. There's been, because ever since YouTube had come out and Twitch and things like that, we started seeing the easier toxic side of things. Because I also saw that personally firsthand. Because I used to be a Twitch streamer and I used to do YouTube as well. I would get a lot of comments of "you're fat" or just a lot of ugly, mean things.
Wow.
Which is more of a target because you're actually reading that stuff like live. So and a lot of the famous
said don't read the comments.
Oh yeah, and a lot of the famous YouTubers that I used to know, again after going through tarnishing reputation and whatnot, started disappearing from the media and stopped reporting less whenever they used to report almost 24 hours a day. So, I mean, there's just a lot of aspects towards toxicity. And, we're all human. No one's going to like it if you get called fat or get called ugly. And sometimes a lot of us as humans like to take the negatives more than the positives.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. That's rough. Now, I know, we have let's see, the Friday Night Song is a prime example. That poor girl still catches hate. Yeah. Oh, I guess that's true.
Rebecca Black.
Oh, Rebecca Black, but she
People
definitely
don't still talk about that, do they?
Yes,
I'll tell you what.
Really?
I didn't know about that until about 2 months
But
ago.
she has a really good voice. Like I have some of her songs on my playlist. Like,
yeah.
I found out about her about 2 months ago when I was watching a YouTuber, and he only referenced her in that there was a new worst person on YouTube or whatever. So in his referencing her, I found out about her. But yeah, it was a pretty terrible song.
Again, also another thing is we have a lot of people in this world that have talent in photo editing and video creation, and a lot of them like to use that in a harmful way.
Right.
I remember with the Friday song, yeah, they created a video edited version where at the end of it was just them in the car and they drove off a cliff.
Right.
It can be hurtful.
Okay. God, I really thought that the Kardashians were worse, but whatever. It's fine.
Actually, it's kind of funny now that you guys are bringing it up. I remember I didn't read the entire article, but it was something about the kid, the one of the first kids. You remember that the kind of chubby guy that does the lightsaber pole? He's kind of going crazy. I guess
the Numa guy.
Yeah,
that's different.
Oh.
South Park did an episode about all of them.
Oh, yeah, all the memes, right?
There is a lightsaber guy and then the Numa guy, which is different. Okay. They are different.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a lightsaber guy. He's a little bit of a chubbier guy, and he's like doing like he's got a staff, but he's just kind of spinning it kind of all around crazy. I guess that guy got so much hate.
Find that South Park clip.
He ended up committing suicide. And his family said that it was because of all of the, negativity and all the hurtful things people would say about this, video clip.
That would go into cyberbullying at that point.
Well, yeah, which goddamn, that's the hard-hitting topic that we didn't choose today. What the fuck?
I should have said. Well, these topics bring about ideas.
What topic is it anyway?
We're talking about celebrity deaths.
Yeah, we
Okay.
were talking about just celebrity deaths and how they
and
affect
how it
people.
affects us. Yeah.
So that's
and-
turned into cyberbullying.
well, and that's another question.
I
Are
mean,
these people that have, by no choice of their own, become memes? Are they celebrities?
Kinda. Bitch, I wish I was a meme.
I know.
You know how much I would
Yeah.
spam that shit? I wish I was a meme.
Well,
There's
also
like
think
these
about
kids are famous like, just from being memes. Like the little girl, like
Right. What were you gonna say, Mercedes?
I want to put it like into a perspective of like fame. Again, back to the subject of Target.
Yeah.
It's not just like comments or things like that. It's what people do physically.
Hey, wait, real quick, Mercedes, you're echoing for some reason.
I'm echoing. Where am I echoing?
Oh, you just stopped as soon as I said it, of course.
Wow. But I think it's like
Ezra, you're muted. Come back. Come back.
It was through Anthony's computer. That's where the echo was coming from.
oh, sorry, it would be me.
We need to get you some
Difficulties.
headphones because it happens like once a week.
Okay, go ahead, Mercedes.
what was I saying? Oh yeah. I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
What was I saying? What were we talking about?
We were talking.
Wait, so I remember I was saying it's more like it's physical. It's yeah. When you're famous and you become a target, it's so easy nowadays to find out where you live, and it's easy for people to send you threat mails and then things like that. It becomes more of a physical thing more than it's not really, there's no space.
Mm-hmm. Steve Jordan is saying, I know a lot of female wrestlers and they get attacked online. Let me try to show this. They get attacked online with a ton of cyberbullying.
Yeah.
Man.
But it can be scary as a person too, because you don't know this person. You don't know if they're gonna show up at your door one day.
But you also don't have to be famous to be cyberbullied. People are capable of that on every level because I've been cyberbullied. I mean, I had people accuse me of terrible things, and again, I asked them, give me an example of that, please, and I wouldn't get one. But the damage was done. Again, I've had my reputation tarnished a few times by somebody who's just hating on me, and there's nothing I can do to change it. But what I can do is like not read the comments and not engage. I've learned a lot lately, especially after the pandemic, to just not engage with people anymore. Right. There's going to be people who say and do the stupidest of things. They're going to post stupid shit. It's going to seem like an attack. They might make a rude ass comment. They might call you the most worst things. Just don't engage with those people. Fuck them. Right. They don't need your energy or your attention. Right. Fuck those people. If you don't agree with them, then just leave it alone. It's a struggle. I want to tell someone why they're wrong, but at the same time, I already know, well, you're just wrong, and I'm not going to give you the time of day or my energy today. Like, have a nice day. Live in your ignorance, and that's fine. Go ahead. I don't
Phoenix, did you have something that you wanted to jump in there and say?
I was gonna say, I don't mean to date myself, but I deleted my MySpace back in the day because I was cyberbullied.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have to take down your AOL account?
That's what my fucking song was.
I definitely want to say, cyberbullying is definitely, it's like, how do I say? Like, some people can deal with it because it's just words, and then there's some people that can't because, it really affects you mentally. But I think that where I was trying to go with it was like the more physical aspect of it sometimes. Like, as a famous person. I mean, it does happen to people who aren't famous, of course, the conflicts and whatnot, but the higher chances of it is what scares me into why I wouldn't want to really put myself into being a, famous person, because I have that higher, I'm target now. I'm up there.
Mercedes and Phoenix, I want to ask you guys a question, right? Okay. And, of course, we're all friends here, right? So don't nobody get offended or mad at me. But I'm a dude, so I don't know. But do dudes actually, like, will somebody just message you that you don't know and actually send you a picture of their dick? Like, is that a real thing? I have never in my fucking life
PlayStation.
I mean, that's happened to me. Are you kidding me?
Oh shit. Okay, so it's not just a woman thing, I guess.
No, it's not. It's not. It really isn't. Like these
That's
people
a
will
real thing.
literally
Like
pick
just
random
random people will
numbers,
send you their cock.
or they're bots. Sometimes they're bots. Like anyone could do this. Really, like they could really take a random person's dick picture and put it in a bot simulator and text it to the world if they wanted to.
Why
Although
would people do
my
this?
answer has been saving those dick pics and sending them right back to other dudes.
I wouldn't really do that anymore nowadays, because if you click on an image or click on a link from somebody you don't know, that is an easy way to get yourself targeted, and
But,
they
like,
can access your
Just send it back
information.
and say, I like it. I like the picture of your cock. Here's mine.
Like I would have like guys be like, "How you doing?" And then I'd be like, "Oh, I'm great. How are you?" And they'd like send me a dick pic, right? So I
like
started
right off it, like not even a conversation, just
Yeah.
boom, right into the dick pics.
Yeah, and like
God damn,
Now,
we're
This
kids.
is the real person.
What platform is this on, though? That's the question. Is this on Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook.
It's on Grindr.
I don't
Like,
have
I'm not gonna
Grindr.
call
Never
myself
have,
a
never did.
well-pronounced hacker, but
My
I
shit
have
happens
found
on
out a person's
Instagram.
location.
You what?
I've found out a person's location because they were bot messaging me. All I had to do is create a fake link or a fake image for them to click on, and I found out exactly where that person was because they were trying to find out my location.
Oh shit, she's
Okay,
You gotta
got
be
like
careful.
computer
You gotta be
espionage.
careful.
Gadget, penny skills, because
gotta
somebody
be
fucking hacked my
careful.
old Facebook. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
I
The
need their
link,
skills.
you know what? That
So
should be
really-
a topic for next time because that is a big
Like-
topic.
Dick
Like
pics?
here's the
No, cyber safety.
Oh,
my
cyber
God.
safety. Okay.
So here's the ending of that too, because I would save those pictures, and then like some other guy would send me another dick pic, and I'd like send the last guy's dick pic to him, and be like,
Right.
"What do you think of mine?"
See, that's what
Find any of
people
those images on Google.
And no, it was funny because I saved those, and when I got engaged and I was getting ready to get married, my then fiance, now my husband, found the photos, and he's like, "Why do you have like file after file of guys' dicks?"
Yeah, and after you collected like 5 or 6, I would think that would be enough for the prank. Like, you don't have to constantly you got a whole catalog of cock. You have a cockalog.
Oh God, that's horrifying.
Oh God! This brings me.
Oh my God. So I
Okay,
mean, like
sorry.
that's a whole nother level. Like to me, I mean, that's no different than cyberbullying, right? In fact, that's
Yeah.
probably worse. Right.
Yeah.
Because I don't just have chicks like, sending random crazy, especially not like, how you doing? Want to see my boobs?
Are you kidding me? Every
And
guy,
when you do,
every
you
cis
know
straight
not
man
to,
out there who's
to
like,
talk
I
to those
wish a
people.
girl would do that. Just send me.
Yeah.
Hi, you like my tits? Here, look at 'em. Yeah, like that does not exist though. That does not exist. In the few
I've done it.
instances
I've
that
done it.
a guy has sent me like an unsolicited cock shot, it's just like, I've seen better.
I've never done it
Wah,
unsolicited. I've never done it unsolicited, but have you guys ever sent it? Like, you guys have done something like that? Have you ever?
Say that again?
sending it to someone that's expecting it is a whole different scenario.
Oh yeah.
I know.
Well, no, I wasn't expecting it. It's like I have a thirst trap picture on like my Instagram, and then I get these random straight boys from New York like, "Hey, how's it going? What's up, baby?" And it's like, you realize I'm a man dressed as a woman right now, right? Like, oh, you are? Oh, you act confused? Okay.
Oh, look
real
at this.
cute.
Matt Torres says he's getting unsolicited vagina playing video. That's because he's a flow artist. If you're cool like Matt, you can get unsolicited photos, or fishing, right? Like anytime I get anything that's like anyone's halfway interested in me, they either love lightsabers or they're a bot that's trying to get me to pay for some kind of sex site.
I believe it.
Oh my God.
Anywho,
So hey,
we
you know
went
what,
from
maybe
celebrity deaths to this. I love it.
This topic, yeah, I'm putting this as an idea for next time. I will
anything
go
is
off.
possible on Kyber Cave After Dark. In fact, you know what I was saying? I'm in a YouTube creator group, and like we bounce ideas off each other, and talk about like how we can improve, or whatever. And I guess one of the hot subjects or everybody's blowing up right now doing short videos. And I was like, dude, I need an editor just to cut some like small segments out of KCAD to put out as little 1 minute shorts. Our side comments would blow up with people.
Move on to our next topic.
Some of the shit we say on this show. Some of the shit we say on this show, I definitely think will would raise some eyebrows.
Celebrity deaths to unsolicited pussy. What next are we talking about?
Right, well, you know what? Last week was from X-Men to XXX porn, so
True.
What the hell?
It's true.
What is wrong with this show?
Hey, you know what? You're here. She's like, I may not be anymore.
We're like, we need a female perspective, please. We need to stop talking
Right,
about pornography with the
At
boys.
this point, I think this is psychology.
Gee, I wonder why I'm having problem getting women on the show. Because we're talking about cockalogs all night long.
Oh God. Anywho,
Because I work like
next
a man.
topic.
Are we moving on to the next topic? Are we ready
I
for the next
believe
topic?
so. We had
Did we
a
beat
big
this one to
ass
death?
banner at the bottom.
Ready.
It's like, next topic now.
Hey, really quickly. Yeah, I see it now. I see it. Okay. Hey, really quickly though, I want to throw this out there. I would love for another episode maybe to talk about how we feel about celebrities with what they do in their real life compared to their art. Like we were talking about Michael Jackson, right?
I'm down
But the
for
next thing that made me think of was R. Kelly, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh God.
Next one.
Does that mean?
We'll do that.
Yeah. I mean, I want to bring that up for a whole different show. Please add Flo to the Flo for the show. The Flow for the show is in our other show. we'll get you to do some like striptease Flow or something. That'd be more Kyber Cave after dark appropriate.
Oh, I wish I'd known. I would have flipped my lightsaber a little bit, then been like, okay, there you go. There's your flow.
Hey, anything's possible on this show. All right. Hey, Ezra, do you have that TikTok video for us? I think we are ready to go into the next segment. And yes, Matt Torres, we are giving away a lightsaber tomorrow night, so make sure you tune in.
I'm also a little stoned, not gonna lie.
You know I have the video ready.
Okay.
Make it so.
Roll that film.
Does a photo like this make you feel uncomfortable? Or something like this? This phenomenon is known as the Uncanny Valley. Introduced by Masahiro Mori in the 1970s, the Uncanny Valley refers to a phenomenon where our brains can register that something is very close to human, but we're also aware that something's not quite right. It's the in-between, where we can process that something looks like a person, but it's not a person, and it causes feelings of distress. Believed to be an evolutionary mechanism, which is also not exclusive to just humans, the Uncanny Valley is where we perceive these things to be a threat or not of us, and it can cause feelings of panic. One of the most well-known modern examples of this was actually an early test screening of Shrek in 2000, where Fiona was rendered as very hyper-realistic. So realistic that it surpassed the threshold of comfort in cartoon and moved into the Uncanny Valley. The children actually became so panicked at this screening, they were reported to be crying at the movie anytime she came on the screen. The entire film had to be halted and she was re-rendered. I'm not sure if this was the actual earliest version of Fiona that made it to the screening, but to put this in context, the one that made it to worldwide theaters is right above. But I did happen to find this monster from some of the early test footage of Shrek. The Uncanny Valley is still a widely unstudied phenomenon, but it continues to become more and more pervasive in entertainment as well as our modern animation.
This was a new topic for me when you brought it up, but both you and John, Anthony, seem to have some ideas on this.
Well, yeah. So I was actually originally planning on dressing up as Aerith from Final Fantasy VII and like bringing a tie about how Genova is kind of something that falls into this, but that might be a subject matter for another day. But the Uncanny Valley really is a thing. Why we see CG as CG when people are trying to render humans as these things, it doesn't look real and it shows. Or why people are like inexplicably afraid of things like mannequins or dolls,
right?
Things that are human-ish but not human. And there was another TikTok which I thought I shared before too, which it disappeared, of course. Talking about what initially instilled this fear of something human-like but not human in us as a species that it still kind of echoes us now.
Right.
And I think there's a lot of different ways that we can take this conversation, because there's one about like artificial intelligence and what that can do with Photoshop and what we're able to do with that. And then something that my friend here that's visiting, Mr. Tristan, just brought up, which I want to bring him on next week, because we could definitely use the trans experience on our panel. And one of the topics you mentioned in our comments together, what I think falls into that category really, really hardcore too. So we'll talk more about that in a minute. But
Yeah,
you just
beautiful.
mentioned something too about cryptids. And
Right.
cryptids are those
Oh, this is it. This is up in Phoenix's territory right here.
I
I can
hope
see her.
so.
I can
Please,
see her
we need
little.
another topic. Okay, so like skinwalkers and things like that, and he just mentioned to me the concept of what if these were aliens that were abandoned on Earth, and that like how that could tie into it. So like there's a lot to be said about the Uncanny Valley and things that mimic themselves as human, or things that we create that mimic as humans, that our brains can't help but perceive it as anything but not, because we know better.
Right.
We're actually talking about a feature episode that's actually on my podcast, which is
Lovely.
Mysterium. Yeah, Tremendum. We actually talk about is there a possibility that there was, even in the past, that we had to evolve this way, because was there someone who wasn't human? Which we do know there was Neanderthals and different types of human back in the day. Were we evolving to fear them, or something like that, or were there aliens that looked like us?
Or look at the Egyptian gods.
Yeah.
Look at how much of that is like humanish, but with like animal heads. Like that.
Yeah.
A lot of that's ingrained in a lot of religions and a lot of societies throughout cultures throughout time.
Mhm.
Right. Right.
Psychotropics could be a factor in this too.
All right, you guys keep going. I'm going to message with Ezra right now. We're trying to get fours. Aaron S is your last name. What's your last name? Fours Effects. We're trying to throw you a link right now, but Ezra is having a tough time finding your name, and I don't think I have you under fours in my thing. I think I have you under your real name, which
oh my God,
Aaron.
you guys.
Yeah, I'm trying to get fours in here. Fours is an incredible font maker, and obviously he has some thoughts on the subject, so I'm trying to get fours in here.
So I guess me personally with the Uncanny Valley, because I didn't even know about it until now. I guess that could fall into a personal thing, because I don't have any problem like seeing it. I guess maybe futuristically, because for me it feels like us as humans, we are able to develop, things that are, realistic and, the same as us. A lot of people will, I guess, be scared in perspective to Terminator, I guess. Like they can harm us in a way, I guess.
Can I ask you a question? Have you ever been creeped out by a doll?
No, I was also about to bring that up. I think the
I'd
reason
say.
why that it is personal is because of people that have a fear of dolls are the ones that have this effect mainly, because I do not have a fear of dolls. Not in the slightest. I've literally slept in a room full of dolls.
Okay. Well, it's funny because right behind me you can see my Funko Pop. So obviously I'm not that scared of that stuff. But
We're talking Annabelle.
Yeah, no. Religious statues scare the heck out of me. I hate them. I won't go anywhere near them. I feel like they're staring at me. My
They're
mom used to
designed
put,
that way.
Yeah, no, my mom used to put angels in my room, and I won't have one anywhere near me. I need to like lock my door because I feel paranoid around them. I don't know why.
I mean, again, it's like a personal thing, I think, because I mean, we're getting more into the technological side of things where we're discovering names for, medical terms for the conditions that we have towards certain things. It's just like maybe 20, 50, who knows how long ago they discovered the phobia word for, the fear of ocean, which I'm not going to say because I just know it starts with a T. Yeah. I could tell you, like, now we have all of these names or phobia.
Phobia, so I know it. That's why.
So we're moving into an era or generation where now that we're as humans improving our technology, that we are also developing more like something like a mentality thing.
Well, we've seen
towards certain
cyborgs
things.
lately, like animatronic humans that they interview, and
Right.
that's
So what
to
is
its own extent. Like, it's kind of terrifying. Like,
exactly? So our question is always, for some people, again, everyone's gonna have the same or different answer, but the same aspect of it is, why do we fear that?
Hey, really
Someone-
quickly, guys, I want to introduce Four's Effects in the house. Yay! I wish we had a yay track. Yay! He is the incredible font maker that I was telling you about earlier. Make sure to check out his show, Usual Suspects. Is that every other Saturday?
We're on a little bit of a hiatus at the moment, but
okay, talking about
yeah, talking about
Uncanny Valley.
Jesus Christ, man!
Talk about frightening.
Way to prove a
we're
point.
talking about the Uncanny Valley here. I mean, like,
You know, is that
we're getting
part
the
of what
full
makes
effect here?
Is that part of what makes you know, if you look at lists historically, that Darth Vader is listed as one of the most feared iconic symbols in movies, right? Is it because he has almost human-like facial features and a creepy voice? Is that part of that whole Valley effect?
His mask is not human features. We think he's
What?
a human in a helmet.
I don't
That's
fear
the
him.
difference.
Who fears him?
But he's got like the cheekbones, you know what I mean? He's got humanoid features, right? But he's not a human.
Perfect butt.
Thing because it's cool
that's
to
what I
be-
noticed about Vader is his ass.
Forrest, are we able to figure out your mic over there?
He don't skip leg day. He doing
Oh wow! Hey, David, thank you for tuning in. It's good to see you, my friend. Pediophobia is the fear of dolls. Yeah, I guess that would make sense.
God, that's so similar to pedophile. It's scary.
I was just thinking the same thing.
I'm scared of pedophiles. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like pediophobia should be fear of pedophiles, not fear of dolls.
Yeah.
Someone screwed Pooch on that one. I'm sure there's a term for that too.
I don't know. I think maybe I relate Vader too much to my father. I don't know.
I want to hear that one.
I don't know why, but because like I've lived like
yeah, you're
so
still kind of
long,
crazy.
Going back to the whole like Vader thing and the Uncanny Valley thing, I guess I just don't have that effect because if you say that you see him as like a feared person, I guess you could see it in that aspect. When I grew up watching Star Wars, my dad always portrayed Vader in his own way. So it was just like, I am your father, right? You got that grasp on me.
Right.
And you will listen to me, right? And you got Luke like, no.
Right. Well, it depends on what edition of the copy, the cut you get.
Yeah,
he doesn't scream no anymore. I
prefer to just hearken to Chewbacca.
I don't know. I've always just seen him as a father figure.
Well, I mean,
that really messed up.
I don't know how many of you watch the Rebels series, but they played with that in one of the episodes where Ahsoka actually almost beats Vader, but she tears open his mask and there's like half of his face, and then the other half is Vader. Yeah, they played with that because his eye is showing through, right?
Right. That humanoid. You know, and I kind of want to go back to like what Anthony was talking about. This is I can't remember. We talk about so many goddamn things on the show. I can't remember what we've ever done. The show's only been running 3 months, and I don't even know what the hell we talk about anymore.
You know what? I think the weirdest example that I can give is the different Star Wars specifically, the difference between the old version and the new version, right? The old version, when Luke went to Dagobah and to train, in the old one, you would see old Vader's face, right?
Right.
But then in the new one, you'll see
change it to Anakin.
Hayden Christensen's version. So I thought that was trippy for me growing up.
Right. On that note.
Hang on. Matt Torres, squirrel.
Matt Torres. ADD, squirrel. How we doing, Forrest?
Any better?
You
Sorry.
sound like you're on Rebel Base right now.
Sorry.
I mean, it's kind of sexy, but I mean, you know.
One sec.
Like turning it on
I feel
and
like we're
turning it
getting
off
a
and turning it
like
on again.
I feel like we're docking on a space station or something. Like we're talking to like tower control.
Mission control. Yeah.
Yeah. 1 sec.
Kristen, we have a problem. Please say that.
No, I was going to say something about the old Star Wars though, and then the reboot or remake or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Which is the one that you prefer? The one that had all the Jim Henson Muppets, or the one that had a bunch of infused CGI? Because the CGI looks fucking fake versus the puppets, which are a reality thing, existed on that set. That's the Uncanny Valley aspect that we're talking about right now.
And then there was more to it than that in the special edition. Like, for instance, in Hoth specifically, in the original movies, there was a lot of corridor scenes that Han and Leia would be walking on where you would see just white wall. But in the special edition, they made it look like, you know, where you could see out into the Cloud City and stuff. So it wasn't just you know what? I personally thought it was an upgrade. You know what I mean? Because, and I understand that George Lucas didn't have the budget or all the technology. Wow, puppets look real on acid.
Well, it didn't really
I
exist
think
at the time either.
I won't tell you about my time. The first time I saw The Nightmare Before Christmas.
We've got
Again, the difference with stop motion animation, the clay is real. Those animatronics were real. It's a physical thing,
right?
That we get to see moving. It's different than CG.
I don't know. Like for me, it's like whenever, for example, there are some shows in some movies where I would prefer a better version because of a blockbuster effect. And what the blockbuster effect is after you've seen something better than the previous, you watch the previous after you've seen the better version, and it's just like you start to prefer
Name
the
me
better
the
version.
Aliens movie that's better than Aliens.
But it's like it depends, right? Because we've obviously seen, like, some of us who grew up with Fairly Odd Parents, or what was it that they redid, or Scooby-Doo, for example. We were so used to the old-fashioned Scooby-Doo, and then they redid it and made it, you know, it's better graphics, but we don't prefer that. But there are some shows that we prefer it to be
what
better
Scooby-Doo versus what Scooby-Doo?
Okay, can I chime in?
Dude, I don't even know. I'm gonna say in my time, my age frame, which is 1996 to
Are we talking the
2005.
movies or the cartoons? Because there's like 5 cartoons.
Good lord, Matt.
Again, everything like depends. It all depends, because for me, I would love to see the Labyrinth Part 2.
Oh, but then there would be no David Bowie.
Again, that is the other issue from the beginning that I was wanting to state, but I forgot about it.
Sometimes, you know what? Okay, here's the problem. Sometimes, you know, like I had this children's poem that I wrote a long time ago. The basic idea is sometimes you just have to leave beautiful things alone, right? Like I heard rumors of them trying to redo Princess Bride, and I was pissed.
Oh
dude.
no!
Yeah, I was too.
Again,
I was too. And they're like, "Oh no, it's a COVID thing. It's a home. It's a joke." You didn't say that, did you?
Not
you said a remake, and I said no. That movie's perfect. Leave it the fuck alone.
Right, but where do you draw the line, Mercedes? I feel like Forrest is like a mute person that just all he can do is just like mime and agree like by shaking his
like
head.
a vibrator.
But like again, like I could go back and watch the Labyrinth like fully, and it would just still be as amazing as it is. But at the same time, I'm growing up to see these, you know, the more realistic things. So when I see it, I see what I didn't see when I saw it the first time, and it kills it a little bit.
Pan's Labyrinth. Like when I first heard that movie was coming out, I thought it was a sequel or something in the anthology of the Labyrinth series. As a result,
I was definitely
somebody
wrong.
wrote an article that misled me in that direction, and then I saw the movie, and it's not that at all. But even still, that movie has some of the best movie makeup effects on characters like the Fawn and the Pale Man, even to date. You can't tell me that you're going to top that with some CGI. It does not hold up to standard. Same thing with Aliens or the original Alien. There's something about those movie effects that are fucking amazing. Same thing with The Thing and then the prequel to The Thing. The first one used practical magic effects that were, oh my God, that was believable, versus that's a bunch of CGI and I can tell the difference.
Right.
Godzilla is another prime example.
All right, what one?
Do I sound any better?
Oh,
Oh, there we go.
There we are.
Hey,
Hello
man.
there.
Please talk all
hello
you
there.
want. I've talked enough.
General Kenobi.
Good job, Phoenix. This is so good for you to come on tonight. It seemed like you were very interested in this topic, Mr. Forrest.
God, American Werewolf in London. God damn it, Matt Torres. Why'd you say that?
I mean,
Go ahead, Forrest. Go.
Matt Torres
No,
wants a Howard the Duck with lots of sex. So
Yeah, that kind of scares me because they you know. Anyways, Forrest, what are your thoughts?
Okay, so let me rewind back to quickly back to what's nipping stick at this let's go let's go back to the creepy doll thing and the paranoia of being in certain places. Like, okay, so for example, yes, I make fonts, but I don't do it for a living. I actually work for a funeral home, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
And there are some nights where I'll get a call, it'll be an on-call night, and it's 3. Okay. So I got to go to the funeral home. I got to pick up the van because we have a removal and we may have somebody there. And I'll tell you what, I am looking over my shoulder. I'm 41 years old and I'm still looking over my shoulder if we got a body there. I don't care. Because it's just,
hey, have you ever had the experience that, like, I hear like sometimes bodies will like expel air and shit like after
Or
they've been
sit
there?
up.
Or what? They
Yeah.
spit up?
They do.
They sit up. They sit up.
Sit up.
physically.
They
You can
sit up.
push on their. You can push on their stomach, and they go.
Oh my God.
she's right.
But do they really sit up because they still have like a muscle reaction?
Yeah, because their muscles contract.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you had that experience?
Me personally, no. It's there's been the expelling of air, that sort of thing. You've even heard the little wheezing sort of. I mean, that's a real thing.
Forget that.
But no, seriously. Yeah, there's like the doll thing doesn't bother me. David.
Oh my God. Back to it's always about the penis. I mean,
Welcome to Kyber Cave After Dark, y'all.
I know, for real. And to answer his question,
I'm curious about
yes.
that too.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
And look, 2 words: human anatomy. Don't just expect the unexpected. It's all a real thing.
I'm totally envisioning you now. Oh my God, this is gonna totally date me. This movie is so friggin' old. Have you ever seen the movie Night Shift? Well, in your life, if you're working in funerals, you probably have seen Henry Winkler was in it, and oh God, who was the other? Oh,
a long time ago.
Beetlejuice, Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton. That was when he was young and like the comedy lead, but that was working in a funeral home at night, and they were having an escort service out of the funeral home. It was kind of a different movie. It was a different time period.
so not many people know I've been in film for 13 years, but I also my educational background is in archaeology, anthropology, those sort of thing, history. And you don't just get to jump to bones and mummies and stuff. You have to go through fresh bodies and study the death process to do archaeology.
Oh wow.
And I dealt with a lot of I dealt with mummies, but I also dealt with fresh bodies during college. And there were moments where you're sort of like, my mom actually has a story because she was also in the death field. And she has a story about how like they removed a guy's brain, but he had like these big teeth. And she goes, I know his brain is over there, but I kept thinking, don't bite me.
Oh my God.
That's a real thing.
Yeah.
Biting?
Yeah. No, like just the feeling like they could come alive and get you again.
Oh my God.
It's a very real thing. For the mind to wander, it's when especially at the witching hour, between 2 and 4, I think just my personal opinion, I think our minds are at our most vulnerable during that period of time.
Right.
You know, especially dreaming, things like that. But, you know, you get a call, you go to the funeral home, or you got a bunch of dolls behind you, or you're up watching a scary movie, or you're checking the windows, you're checking your doors, you're watching your back. I mean, you know, honestly, I I personally don't think that's anything to be embarrassed about, just for your own general safety. But yes, the mind can wander.
It
I
really
don't care. I
does.
don't I don't care how together you say you got it. You
Right.
know, everybody can be vulnerable every now and
Like,
again, and you just kind of want to you want to make sure of course you want to make sure you're safe. You know, that's especially if you got a family, you know what I mean? But
Right.
even right here, I'm looking at myself. I'm actually looking like behind me in a sense. Because I'm telling you, there's one movie that messed me up, and that's Lights Out. Lights Out
Right.
messed me up in that aspect. Because if I turn the light off, I think there's someone behind me. I'm running. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people have the same problem, even if they've never seen Lights Out, is when they shut off a light, they are booking it.
mhm.
Right. Right. Did you guys when you were little kids, did you ever like even when it was like blazing hot, I always had a blanket like on. Like I had just this weird, like I had seen a lot of like, Friday the 13th movies and stuff. And I just had this weird thought that somehow the blanket was like an
It's a
iron
safety
sheet
mechanism.
I
that would
still
like
do that.
stop a knife from going through or something.
Yes, same. I do the same thing. Even if it's hot as Sahara Desert, that blanket is staying on, nailing it.
I used to live in a very, very old apartment, when I was in my early 20s. It was like 80, 90 years old. For a while, it was a morgue, and it was a brothel and all sorts of things.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Spiritual
I
trauma
escalated.
alert.
And I used to have trouble sleeping in that stupid place, and it was like what I could afford.
Gee, I
Um,
wonder why.
I know, right? And I used to like sleep with my blanket over my head because like I used to think that I could hear people and things.
Right.
And like I felt like if the blanket was over my head that I was safe. I don't know why.
I'm exactly the same way.
I don't know why, but it's a safety mechanism for a lot of us. And think
Okay,
about
so
it,
I
don't
stepped
know.
away to use the bathroom. Did somebody ever mention anything about cryptids? Is that why Forrest got on?
We were
We
talking
we
about
started
cryptids,
to,
Mata.
but we
Did-
could go back
did
to
you-
it.
Yeah, did you have something you want to say?
Well, okay, so I'm like obsessed with like things like the Wendigos and Skinwalkers. Like I've seen a lot of stories about that. There's a lot of different YouTubers and other stories about like urban legends, mostly about like national parks and their relationship to the cryptids that do live in the United States. Goes back to conspiracy theories about why we designated that there are certain areas that people should just not build cities in.
Yeah.
And then there are plenty of places where
Agreed.
people have experiences either with like Bigfoot or other kinds of
Is
unknown
it the Jersey moth or
creatures.
something like that, or the Jersey devil?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Chernobyl is a
There's a
very
lot
prime
of
example of
lore.
that.
What,
I'm
did you say
waiting for the
Chernobyl?
American Horror Story
Yeah,
season called
Chernobyl's
Frontier
a
and have
big
all of
example.
those things in it. Like,
Mm.
go ahead.
What were you going to say about Chernobyl?
There are people that have literally gone there when they weren't supposed to, and recorded things there, and just
There's also a
things.
horror movie that does that too.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true.
So
And that have captured things there too.
so since we got Mercedes on the screen, I'll give you $1,000 to spend one night in an abandoned mental asylum. Can you do it?
One night?
I'll
For
do
one
it.
night.
Yeah.
Phoenix, you'll take it?
Yeah.
I would do it.
I'd take that bet. I'd take that bet.
For
I
$1,000.
would do it.
Money is money, I guess.
I'd go in there.
What about you?
I
Ford?
mean, I would do it just for the experience, honestly, because I mean, I've definitely been in an active household of weird phenomenons.
Really?
I mean, I've lived in a creepy apartment and worked with death and slept next to a mummy. Like what
Ew.
could that?
Guys, I lived in Japan, the almighty supernatural island that it is.
Right. And
Huh.
that's kind of funny. A few shows, well, several shows ago, who knows what show it was now, but Anthony and I were talking about cultures, different cultures, Eastern versus Western, and the type of movies they make. And I had brought up that with a lot of Japanese movies, they do like ghost movies like no other country. They're all about their spiritual, that's like something that you could tell is very ingrained into their thinking and their culture.
There are areas you can't even go to there. Like,
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
heard
areas
about like haunted
hold
forests
on
and
to.
stuff like that.
Haunted
We
forests,
have those here in
haunted
America. That's why I just said.
buildings. Oh, it's everywhere. It's just
there's a
more.
suicide forest.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
not. No
yeah.
one's allowed to go over there. And in fact, Americans are pretty much on the blacklist for that, especially.
Wow.
Bell
Because
Bird's
every
the
American
best
tries to
Keep
go.
scooping.
Belle, I like you more and more.
We keep scooping in there, like.
Right.
But yeah, there's definitely activity there. Having lived there only a year, I lived in a house in the mountains.
Mhm.
And I'm telling you, you will hear and see and experience some of the strangest things if you are in the right place.
Right.
Oh, the demon rock that just broke.
What's just that about?
It's in China, I believe. And supposedly it released a demon that was harnessed like thousands of years ago, and it broke this year.
Ooh,
Of course.
of all
Wait,
things.
this is a real
here.
story?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is like some ancient stone that they've had that they believed a demon was trapped in, and it's broke now, and now they believe this demon is free.
Yes.
It's over, guys.
Carry on my wayward son.
Let me tell you guys about the story of my experience. So, the house that I was living at, right, was just like doors would constantly be slamming.
Was it windy?
No. Definitely no wind. And
I have a
sometimes
similar
I
story
could
when
see
she's done.
sometimes I could see like a silhouette of something. Like the corner of my eye. It's just there, like in a doorway or something. And sometimes I could hear like waning, and it definitely wasn't winding. It would happen during the day and at night.
Mhm.
There was no time frame or scheduled time that it would happen. It would just happen all randomly.
Wow. So this is an old house, you said?
I would say that house has been there for quite some time.
And do you know of any stories or anything that's happened there? You know, bring it. I always feel like every conversation we have, we've already had in some way, shape, or form. But we were talking about on another show. Remember, we were talking about people leaving their energy in places that they've been. We were talking about how people can kind of imprint, feelings or something like that into buildings.
I mean,
Right.
in the Philippines, they there's a big belief in that. I'm surprised you even brought that up, Van. There's a big belief, in I think in Asia in general, it's a big cultural thing about people and then you get hungry ghosts and whatnot.
Right.
Actually, I had something. My voice. I had something like that happened to me where I moved into that creepy apartment I talked about, and I had just moved in, and I was newly dating a guy, and I was like, I feel really weird in this apartment. Can you please stay with me?
Right.
And like we fell asleep on my bed.
You just felt weird. There wasn't anything particular that made you feel weird.
I had a weird feeling moving in, and I took it sight unseen because I was brand new to the city, and I was like, I'll take anything, just give it to me.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that was a bad idea. I'll
I'll take anything. Just give it to me.
Yeah.
That brings up different feelings.
Yeah. Also
Um,
remember too, like Asia is more the reason why we always think Asia about ghost stories is because they were more active in their storytelling and their rituals and their spiritualness. Here in America, I mean, this happens everywhere.
Right.
It doesn't matter because it happened here too, like with her experience as well. It's just we didn't really write about it like that.
So
and we're a much younger country than all these other.
That's the big part right there.
Yeah. Oh, I
Right.
mean, but I mean, we've had hundreds of years in some of these places. But yeah, Belle, I sat up in the middle of the night and I said, "Oh my God, honey, somebody's in the apartment." And I was like, "What's going on?" And we turned on all the lights and we searched the house. And it was like, to me, there was a man standing in my bedroom, and he had a fedora hat on,
Oh
and
my
he looked like he
god.
was smoking a cigarette. And I was like, I swear to God, there was like somebody here.
Man
And
in the hat.
yeah, right. So
Mine's always been silhouette.
a full year goes by, and we're all drinking beers. The whole building would often go down in the summertime and drink beers and just kind of kick back during finals. And we were sitting there, and I was like, oh yeah, I was like, ha ha. When I first moved in here, I saw that guy standing in my doorway, and I'm fine now. And they're like, oh yeah, Fedora Man. I was like, ah.
Oh damn.
No.
So yeah, apparently
Yeah,
the whole building has seen him.
it's real. I'm telling you. Another experience I had was almost similar, like the one that I had in Japan. Was I was actually younger. I was 8 years old, and I never told my sister about it. Every time I closed my eyes and open it, he'd be standing. A silhouette of a guy would just be standing at the doorway for the kitchen.
Wow.
After
Hell
I moved
no.
out, my sister said the bed just started shaking, and she started seeing him too. And I said, "Dude, you need to go. You
Good.
need to go."
Wow. Matt Torres says, wait, real quick, and then we'll get right to you, Anthony. But Matt Torres says, what do you say? I'm trying to figure this. I worked in a mental hospital. I'm in the belief that demons grasp hold of those bodies and won't let go. That's crazy. Oh, Anthony, what were you gonna say, my friend?
So, okay, since we got into the spiritual subject and ghost experiences, I had a comment on a couple things. One, my grandmother's house. Ever since I was little, up until like I was like late teens, whenever I would stay there, my mom would always take the guest bedroom because that was her old room. My grandmother slept upstairs, and I always had to be in the living room. And I would always, always, always feel like someone was watching me through the windows. It always felt like someone was watching me through the door, through the windows, but I also never felt like really, really threatened by them. It was just like something was there. And then I ended up growing up to hear that my grandmother suffered from plenty of episodes where she would wake up and there would be like a shadowy figure at the end of her bed.
That's same with me.
Yeah. So like it was something that really affected her, especially after her husband had passed away, my grandfather. But one of the other big things that happened to me, it was like my second house. It was my like second living situation being out on my own. It was me and my best friend. We had rented this older house that's out in like the industrial area of Lodi. And I remember one day walking into my kitchen and every single cupboard door was open.
Yep.
And I kind of looked around. I was like, well, that's weird. And then I asked my roommates, because it was my best friend and some other guy. I was like, hey, did you guys like open these for any particular reason? Was something happening with that? And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
Right.
And so the next time I was by myself in that house, I was like, hey, look, I don't know what spirit's here, but I'm going to let you know I'm not having it. Don't fuck with me. I'm not going to fuck with you. I'm not here to play with you. I'm not here to mess with you. Like, I just want to live here. Like, let's get along.
Let's coexist.
And it left me the fuck alone.
This is your part of rent.
So here's another funny question. How can we assume that the spirit we're talking to actually understands us?
Hey, Forrest, you've been awful silent. You got any thoughts?
mean,
Wait, let's see if Forrest has got any.
English, friend?
yes, please. He's been silent.
Hebrew?
We can hear him.
That was a good point.
Well, first of all, I'd like to report that after this conversation, I will not be going to bed tonight. No.
Welcome to Kyber Cave After Dark.
I know, for real. No, I'm not surprised by any of what y'all are saying, because I mean, before my grandparents' house burned down, unfortunately, my grandmother would swear up and down that her mother would just inhabit the house. She had now get this, she had a preferred TV station. Like, there was a particular time of the day where a show had to be on, and she would change it to that show at that time of day because that's what great grandmother wanted.
Right.
And like, there would be, and she was a heavy smoker, and there would be remnant smell of cigarette smoke at portions of the night,
Right.
depending, because she
Yeah.
would get up early to take care of the dogs. So she was up at 4 and, dead ass middle of the night. And she could, depending upon the room she was in, she would smell smoke.
Right.
So a lot of it was just keeping her happy. And I never doubted it. I never doubted it for a second. There was never really a haunting, so to speak. Sometimes I think sometimes the spirits just want their way.
Right.
In regards to what was that? I'm sorry. I apologize. What was the previous question?
It wasn't
How
really
do
a
we know if
question.
they understand
Uncanny
them? Like,
Valley?
how do they understand the language we're speaking when we
Thank
try
you.
to speak to them?
That heavily depends upon the previous inhabitants of the home. Now, I remember watching, and I take a lot of this stuff with a grain of salt. My wife enjoys a lot of the haunting TV shows and specials and whatnot, and there will be stories of, especially further south, homes that are still inhabited, but of spirits that are speaking Spanish, not
Oh wow.
like the Spain Spanish.
Oh
Okay.
wow.
And so do they understand what we're saying? Well, if they're speaking Spain Spanish, then no.
Right.
But it's
It's
yeah,
like,
I
I
mean,
guess my thing is like, if that person dies, do they take everything with them, personality wise, the language? Say they learn 3 languages, would they take all that with them? Like, is
I
there
don't know.
different
That's getting into
races
another
in
theological
spirits?
conversation altogether.
I was gonna say
How
my
are we keeping on a notebook at this point?
my co-host
Yeah,
has a
there's always a
story
lag.
about a dead body saving his life, which is kind of interesting. A dead body saving his life. He'll frequently tell a story. He's a mortician by trade, and he yeah, and he'll tell a story about how he was driving a body back to the morgue, and he had just and he was, I guess he'd been pulling a long shift, and he was like,
Everything's lagged on my end. I can't tell what's been said in the last minute.
oh, so I was saying I have a my co-host on the podcast will tell a story about how he was driving a dead body. Oh, lost him.
It's okay.
So
Just go ahead and fish
anyway,
out.
he was driving the dead body back, and he said it had been a long, long night, and he was falling asleep on the road, and he was like, he knew he shouldn't have been on the road, but he was like, I'm just gonna make the last leg and just get this body back. And I guess he started to fall asleep, and he said that as he fell asleep, he got the picture of the man sitting up from his body bag, going, "Dude," and like getting in his face, and he sat up,
Oh
and he was
shit.
yeah. And he was like, he was just about to go off the road and careen off the road. And he was like,
Wow.
"Thank you."
Right.
oh
So
my God,
I
Matt.
love that story. Yeah.
Matt had an interesting comment back here. He said, energy and intent, it has to be genuine to communicate, expect resistance. So yeah, I mean, I would think, if there were places of great great emotion or feeling, like you might see in an asylum, or maybe an abusive household or something, that people could imprint their energy. What are your thoughts, Ezra? Have you ever had any ghost experiences?
Actually, I have. I was about, I want to say like 13 or so. My foster brother at the time was, we were hanging out, but we both had like fell asleep in my room. Like, he was laying on the floor, I was in my bed. We just passed out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I woke up feeling like someone was staring at me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I woke up. Stop clicking things.
I'm trying to get you on, dude.
Stop clicking things. You don't know how to do it. Stop clicking
Well, then you do it. Go ahead.
So I woke up and I looked around and I saw nothing. So I got up out of bed. I grabbed my phone and used the flashlight just to like see if there was anything that I wasn't actually seeing. My brother was knocked out on the ground, like dead asleep. So I went downstairs to my foster mom and was like, "There's something in the house. Like, something is here." And we were running around the house looking to see if someone was there. Nothing.
Yeah.
And then I went to wake up my brother, and he said that he couldn't breathe. Like
Yeah.
he felt like his chest was just like
That's what I wore
concaved in.
Wednesday.
That's a
Yeah.
whole nother phenomenon. What is it called? Like sleep paralysis, I think.
Yes, it's sleep paralysis. It's the feeling that something is weighing heavy on your chest and you can't move, and that there's normally you are in a REM cycle, but you are not fully asleep, but you're awake, but you're asleep.
No,
And
he was completely asleep. Like he had no idea anything was going on.
right.
But when I woke him
So
up, he was like, "I can't breathe."
there's
There's
another
a
thing
incubus
that
and succubus.
if you wake up at a random time in the night and feel a presence, it normally, and this isn't like fact, but something that I read, that there's something actually staring at you if you wake up randomly in the night for no apparent reason. I'm
Great. I
sorry,
do that
guys.
a lot.
I knew about this for a long time, but I don't want to be the only one knowing this. But normally,
It also came to. I came
Yeah.
to find out that my foster mother's mom passed away in the house.
It's Sophie.
In the
Oh,
room
wow.
directly underneath me.
Yeah, that, and it's a demonic thing too, from what I had read about it.
All right, well, we have 4 minutes, everyone, so let's start wrapping up.
Nope.
Okay.
No, doesn't even.
Oh, no, we got
It's
15.
just-
Sorry.
Good Tomb Raider gun. That's about it.
Thing up there. My bad.
Yeah, we'll start wrapping up here in about 4 more minutes. We'll start getting everybody's wrap ups. But sleep paralysis, yeah, I've actually had that happen before, and it's funny because a lot of times people will get the same kind of image. I vividly remember when it happened to me. I was in college, but I remember feeling like, and I swear in my head I saw like a ghost demon sitting on me, holding my arms down. And I remember trying with all my might to yell out to my roommate, but I couldn't get
But you
sounds
can't. Yes.
out of my body.
I have sleep paralysis actually constantly. And it
Oh.
happens mostly to people who, and I want to say it in a more scientific way, because they still haven't really figured out why that happens, but it's a due stress. You don't sleep enough as well, you can trigger it like that as well, or sleeping on your back.
Oh wow.
The experience that I had with it, and multiple times, is like I will be laying down and it's like I can see everything as if I were awake, but I'm not awake. And
Right.
it'll feel like something is on me, and then some random things will happen where something's gnawing at me or screaming, like something's screaming at me. Like the audio is there for me and visually. But the gnawing and things like that, I've actually, because I've had it so often, I've started to learn how to cope with it and end it.
Wow.
So I think it's more like it's not really for certain whether it is a demonic thing or a spiritual thing, but I've started kind of looking at it like a mentality thing.
Right.
And how I've helped myself get out of it is just closing my eyes as if I'm going to sleep in the sleep paralysis stage.
I've had 3 different experiences with this.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one was actually after an episode where I had taken a drug I'd never taken before. Kind of.
Was it legal or illegal?
I think it was like Molly or some form of ecstasy. And I remember having a dream that night where there was like a ghost over me, and it did something to me. I want to say it like looked like a slave or something like that. But I remember waking up the next day and I had like a very deep bite mark in my tongue.
Ooh.
And it was very impactful on me. Like I remembered the experience and everything. But I don't know if that had to do with the drug. The next time that happened to me, it was a moment where I remember being physically awake in this world and looking into my hallway and going, why are the lights off? Because I knew that I left the lights on. We usually leave a light in our living room or something else on. And it was completely dark. And I felt this presence enter my doorway. And I remember turning over and just going, I'm gonna pretend like it's not there.
Close my. Yep.
I'm gonna put up my little aura shield and like protect myself from this thing. But it was a moment of like, I'm not going to acknowledge it because it's there and I know it's there and I don't want it to know that I know it's there. And then last time was I was in a dream where I kept waking up in my dream, but I was still in a dream.
Me
and
too.
I could not get out of it. Where like I would wake up in my bed and try to walk through my household, and
I would think I'm awake. You would think you're awake, right? And it just bothers me.
Still in the dream. And it got to a point where I woke up in a household that I did not recognize, and everything was so physically real that I started to freak out. Where I was like, "Where the fuck am I?"
Right.
Like it would always start off. It would always start off in a really like a nightmarish dream, and then when I wake up, I think that I'm finally awake. But then as I go through the house, things start to like get weird again.
Distort and be different.
And it's like, no, you're not awake.
There is a term for it for sure. Lucid dreaming. There is lucid dreaming, which is similar but different.
Without Ezra, did you have something that you wanted to say?
Have you guys ever had those dreams where you like you feel like it's the real world, and then you go out and do like a bunch of illegal stuff, and then in the dream you go to sleep, and then you wake up and you're like, did I actually do that shit?
Yeah.
Yes. That's part of what I just was talking about.
I've done stuff where I've had people do things against me in dreams, and I've like felt like I should hold it against them, even though it was a dream.
Right. Just kind of.
Yeah. No. And I've done stuff in my dreams where I feel really guilty about it. Like I've been like dating guys and have sex with like another guy in the dream and be like, oh my God, like what did I do?
Well, that's the subconscious talking, right?
Yeah.
That's subconscious.
I'm sorry, David. You have to be a virgin to be visited by a succubus.
Yeah, that is the truth.
Hey,
dressing up as Morgans.
We're gonna get ready to wrap up here in a few minutes. Forrest, did you have anything you want to say? You've been awful quiet here, man. I thought you were excited to get in on this. I thought you had a ton of knowledge to drop on us here.
Oh no, I'm just being respectful, letting everybody speak. No, I had a if I have enough time.
Oh yeah, you're never gonna get time if you don't just jump in. It's like double dutch. You just gotta find your pattern and jump in. Sorry, go ahead.
Ever since my mom passed in 2018, I've been having I've been going back to my house where I grew up in my dreams regularly. And it's getting to the point where it's just weird. But the one thing about the whole sleep paralysis thing was I was at the house. Like there was a nighttime ritual my mom or my dad would do, and the dogs would get up in the middle of the night, so they would have to be let out to the pen. Okay. So I need you to picture this. The kitchen goes out to the carport, which connects to the dog pen. So you open the back door. That's basically how everybody came in. So Night, James. At the time, 38-year-old me was back in 1992 in the house with the dogs. Mom was there, dad was there, and it was pitch black. The dogs were crying, and I had to let them out. Now I knew and I'm dreaming now, okay, and this is vivid as freak. I knew if I opened that back door, there was going to be an intruder, and he was going to tackle me. And he was going to pin me down, and there was nothing I can do.
Right.
And I followed through to let the dogs out. I opened the door, and like a freaking jump scare video game, here comes this shadowed figure, and he football tackles me by the shoulder, and I'm on my back.
Wait, in the dream?
What really, yes. And what freaked me out was that it wasn't 12-year-old me. It was me. And I'm screaming for my mom, but I couldn't get the word out. It was like that. Like my voice
when you're running, but you can't run.
It wouldn't come out. Like the voice just wouldn't come out.
And everyone watch Paprika. It's worth it.
And then I woke up. Now, since that time, I continue to have dreams where I'm back at the house. And it doesn't even have to be a bad dream, but I'm there as my current self, but mom's there and she's same age as me. Dad's there. The dogs are alive. It's 1990 something.
Right.
But me currently is there like everything is normal, and I don't get it. It's just so freaking weird.
Right.
It's like
Hey,
it's like I'm time traveling.
You know what's kind of funny? James made a comment over here. He said, as David is telling the story, I can't stop staring at the curtains behind him. What's going to jump out? Yeah, as you're like, every time you talk, there's a green curtain behind you, and I keep expecting to see it like shake or move or something, or to see a little face loom out from behind there. Like, I feel like if I rewatch this video tonight, in your background somewhere, I'm gonna see some dark object floating in the corner,
like from 3 Minute a Baby.
Yeah.
I mean, don't laugh. The podcasters do get that, and gamers that have stuff behind them, they have that all the time where like things move behind them, and they're like, "What was that?" You know.
Right. Matt says he's got a story. Yeah, Matt, maybe we'll have to bring you on the show one night. You can be another unofficial host of the show.
We need to just have a spooky fucking theme show to begin with.
Yeah,
let's do it.
It's gonna be Halloween.
Well, definitely in October.
That's too long.
We gotta pace ourselves, guys.
That's
We do this
too
shit
long,
weekly.
man. Guys, I have a
Don't
podcast.
wait
Come
for
on it.
October.
Woo!
All right, let's start getting.
I have a podcast called Mysterium Tremendum. Check it out. We love telling spooky stories.
Well, why don't we start with you,
from
Phoenix?
Silent Hill and joining you, Phoenix? Just letting you know.
Phoenix, we're gonna start our outros. Why don't we start with you, and you can let people know a little bit about that show.
All right, so of course I'm always on Distance Nerding. Love you, James.
James, Distance Nerding. I have Distance Nerding on my backpack.
Yes. Oh, cool. Yeah. No. Kyber Cave is our sister from another mother. But yeah, so as always, I'm on Distance Nerding, but I'm also on a new podcast called Mysterium Tremendum. Our first episode was about bog bodies and the bodies that they find in swamps that are often human sacrificial deaths.
Wow.
And yeah, our next one is going to be about Yona, and then I'm not going to say her name because I can't speak. And then
Llorona.
Yeah, I love you. And then I think we have a couple of like cryptids coming up. We have all sorts of stuff. We have the origin of Easter coming up, and the
I don't know. I listened to part of your first one. Whoever's doing the audio, and there's got a really creepy voice.
Yeah, that's our witching man.
It fits the whole theme, of course. You know what I mean? He would definitely be horrible as a children's, preschool storybook reader.
Yeah, that's my co-host. He's the mortician I told you about. So, no, he's an actual absolute fun to work with. We've known each other for, gosh, like 12, 13 years now. So, yeah. So, yeah, it'll. I hope you guys come and check it out because we are gonna have so much fun with spooking everybody, make everyone feel a little creepy.
Woo-hoo. Yeah, that'll be good. We'll definitely have more creepy shows on. All right, Mercedes, what you got for us?
Hey guys, I don't really have anything much going on, but you guys can check out my videos on YouTube, Sapphire Darkstar, because I haven't changed it to my new name yet. And then you guys can find me on Twitch as Sleepy Sapphire Official. And I'm more active on Instagram, so you might want to just go to that one instead. That one's also Sleepy Sapphire Official. Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to go check out those music videos, let me know how I did. And then any requests like that, I always take requests, and I try to do the best I can with those as well. Feedback is always a plus for me, so yeah.
Hey, check out Mercedes. Fours, what you got?
So, if you guys are in the lightsaber community at all, or if you're just getting into lightsabers, I am a sound font creator, and I'm happy to say I just launched my website, forsfx.com. It is super 90s Final Fantasy-esque, completely me, retro gamer style. It's really cool. And I've launched a bunch of new stuff, and I've got new stuff coming, and there's an exclusive one that's going to be specifically for Kyber Cave. So that's going to be a lot of fun. It's forsfx.com. You could also find me on saberfont.com. And every other Saturday, I'll be doing my stream is called The Usual Suspects, and I would love to get Van back in on that on the regular, because that would be a lot of fun. So that's it from me.
Yay! All right,
Yay.
Mr. Anthony. Hello there.
Hi. Okay, so we went from Uncanny Valley to like spooky stories real quick, and I'm here for it. I'm such one of those kids that grew up on like spooky stuff to begin with, and like if it wasn't evident, I will say I will have a separate little contest. Well, I will, pop up some fucking money if someone can guess what my background is from. Because if you don't already know, then you don't already know. But this is very meta for it. And other than that, I had fun tonight, like always. I probably didn't hear the last 20 minutes or so. But that could just be my lag. Outside of that, I really do think that clearly there's a lot of common experience here with some of those other things like night terrors and sleep paralysis and spooky encounters and things like that. And I really hope that we don't have to wait till October to talk about those things, because the month is short enough.
Yes,
but outside of that, like I look forward to see what other topics we get out of subject matter like this, because it always seems to transform into a new one. It's like, oh, that's an episode all on its own. I do have a friend here again with me that is very eager to jump on next week if you guys are up for it, Mr. Tristan. And I'm excited to see what you guys think. So we'll get there when we get there. But
what about your Wednesday show? Is that still popping?
Yes, we just started back up on Wednesdays. In fact, Tristan is going to be debuting as a drag entertainer, but I don't think we've decided on the name officially, so I can't say just yet.
You'll have to come Wednesday to find out.
Yes, come Wednesday, find out.
Wonderful. Mr. Ezra.
Hello.
Hello there. What you got for us? I figure you can handle the Kyber Cave production stuff, and I'll handle the Kyber Cave stuff.
Oh, okay. All right. So we have a Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook page, all under Kyber Cave Productions.
Woo! And Instagram. Oh, sorry.
You.
Sorry, I didn't. Sorry, my bad.
We also have an Instagram. Yay!
Yay!
Ruining it. That's also Kyber Cave Productions. There's no underscores, no anything. It's just Kyber Cave Productions. We also have a website. I know that's not Kyber Cave Productions, but we're both going to say it. So go to the website, buy some sabers. Also, follow my photography account. I'm going to be uploading there soon. I'm going on more hikes lately, so there's going to be like a lot more photos. That is Ezra_Kyle43. I'll pop it up on screen later. But Dan, your turn.
Yeah, hey, thank you. Really quick, Phoenix, I think Matt was asking you, can you type out the name of your show, since it's not necessarily easy to find without it, but type it out on the screen so Matt can find you. KyberCave.com. I don't have any personal stuff. I don't have a life or anything. Everything I do revolves around Kyber Cave in one way or another. We are going to be in Fallon, Nevada in the morning at noon. I'm leaving at 7 a.m. We're going to be doing a demonstration at 5 Titans. Toy and comic store out there in Fallon, Nevada, stopping in Reno at Coffee and Comics, as well as Big Toy Store that hopefully will be have our sabers in those locations. So if you live in Nevada, you will be able to find Kyber Cave sabers, not just at our store, but at numerous different stores. We plan to take over the entire country and then the planet eventually, but we're starting in California and Nevada for right now. Please make sure to check out KyberCave.com. It's like Pinky and the Brain up in here. Check out KyberCave.com. We've got sabers on there. We have all kinds of merchandise. And don't forget, this Sunday, tune into Saber Rattle. We have the designer of the brand new saber by TXQ. This was a custom one that somebody designed and won a contest. She will be on our show. She designed the Relic Hunter saber. So she will be here this Sunday, and we are giving away a saber. We hit 400 subscribers, so we're giving away the saber. And because so many people subscribed, we're actually only about 30 people away from giving away a saber next Sunday. So if we can get 30 more people, there will be another saber next week. Yeah, if you can't tell, we're doing it in lots of every 50. So until we start getting a snowball, and then we'll probably do 100 and bigger. And then the millions. All right, I'll shut the fuck up now. Thank you for everybody for tuning in. I want to thank everybody in the comments. Honestly, you guys are what make the show. If it wasn't for you guys out there, we wouldn't be here. We would just be talking to each other. This would be just a conversation between 6 people.
I'd
Half
still
of
be
which
fun.
came on because they were in the comments.
He's
All
not
right.
wrong.
Guys, we will see you next Friday at 9 p.m. Pacific time. And again, this Sunday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. I love you guys all so much.
Bye, everyone.
Peace.